Thank you all for joining us again this week, and it's good to be back with all of you. We're now a few weeks into the academic year. Over the past 18 months, we have built an extensive public health program similar to the health department of a small municipality. This program guides the safety measures we implement in our community. At various times over this period, we have adjusted our protocols as the circumstances of the pandemic have changed. Once the COVID-19 vaccine was developed, we were able to incorporate a vaccine mandate into our layered public health approach. Now, our community has reached a 98% vaccination rate for students and for faculty, and a 97% rate for staff. There is no better way for us to protect one another than receiving the vaccine. But there are other measures we've incorporated as well. We have upheld our requirement for everyone to wear masks indoors. We have introduced a new random testing program to our overall testing protocol in order to monitor the presence of asymptomatic cases. We also continue to test anyone who has symptoms, anyone who was exposed, and we provide access to testing for anyone in our community who wants a test. These are many of the elements of our layered public health approach. Participation and adherence to these protocols is of the utmost importance. With our return this fall, all of us have had to adjust to these new public health practices. Together, our community has made a tremendous impact by upholding these public health commitments. We have established a number of resources for our community to share information and encourage adherence to our public health guidelines. Each week, I provide these presentations to offer our community a sense of the issues we are facing on any given week and how we are thinking about the current moment. We regularly convene forums for our community. We began the academic year by hosting a public health forum with Dr. Ranit Mashuri, our Chief Public Health Officer, and we held another event focused on many additional resources for faculty and staff, from spiritual opportunities to mental health resources to emergency planning efforts. On Friday of last week, we convened one of our regular staff and AAP forums for staff to hear updates from our senior leaders and to ask questions. This week, our Faculty Senate is hosting a forum for all faculty to engage with our senior leadership team about the early weeks of the semester and our plans for the year. We are regularly communicating with parents and families in a newsletter that highlights campus updates and activities for undergraduates. Our public health campaign, Every Hoya, Everywhere, through signage and social media, provides reminders of current public health guidance. Across all these forums, our communications are focused on three areas. First, the steps that each of us is responsible for as individuals, from mask wearing to vaccination. Second, the elements of our public health program and the actions of our public health team. And third, the issues we are continuing to monitor that may cause us to adjust our approaches. I've touched on a few of the elements that we are responsible for as individuals, mask wearing and vaccination, in my opening comments today. I want to turn now to the second and third areas, our public health team actions and the issues we are monitoring. Perhaps the two most common questions I receive are what happens if someone tests positive for COVID-19, and second, what might cause us to adjust our public health approach or campus operations. Let me first speak to what happens when someone tests positive. Someone might have received a COVID-19 test because they have symptoms, or they might have identified as a close contact of someone else who tested positive, or they might be part of our random testing program, or they might have elected to receive a test. Our Care Navigator team receives test results and reaches out quickly to the individual who tested positive and works with the individual on appropriate next steps. The Care Navigators will gather information on close contacts, and these close contacts will then be requested to receive a test. Faculty members will be notified if a student in their class tests positive, and we will work with them to appropriately notify their class in order to both maintain privacy and public health. If a faculty member identifies a situation that impacts their ability to teach in person, we recognize the need to be as flexible as possible. This is an important guiding principle for us as part of our overall response. We know that circumstances among members of our community differ. We know that the pandemic continues to introduce new challenges. We recognize the importance of flexibility and the need to make adjustments to our plans to ensure we are responding in the best way possible for our community. I am often asked, what are we looking at as we monitor the pandemic? For more than 18 months, we have been monitoring a set of indicators to enable us to deepen our understanding of the current state of the pandemic and how we might have to adjust campus operations to ensure that we can protect public health and sustain our mission. I often describe these indicators as part of these weekly presentations, and many of these indicators are also reflected on our public COVID-19 dashboard. These indicators generally include our positivity rate on our campuses, test turnaround times, the overall state of the pandemic regionally, nationally, and globally, our capacity to provide isolation for residential members of our community, key policy changes from governmental authorities, and the operating status of major school districts in our region. We monitor conditions on a daily basis and are continually refining a set of potential responses the university might engage depending on changing conditions. We will continue to watch closely these conditions and will provide updates to our community as we see new trends or emerging issues that may impact our university community. I hope that this has given you a sense of the many opportunities to learn about our public health program and some of its key elements. And I look forward to next week's presentation as we continue this conversation. I'm deeply grateful to our community for all you have accomplished as we begin this new semester, and wish you all the very best for every Hoya, everywhere.